This podcast is not a substitute for a relationship with a mental health professional. Hello.
Testing. 1, 2. I was doing in the place to be. You from New Jersey.
Welcome back to the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown, and we have
Stephen James Dixon.
with us, y'all, here again. So now, before we get started, I need you, come on, family. I need you to do something for me. And even if, listen, you just passed by and this is your first time watching or just listening to the podcast, I need you to subscribe. Join the family. That's all you have to do is subscribe so that you get notifications when a new episode comes up. And then you can listen because that's what makes you a part of the family. Yeah, so you're going to click that bell, subscribe, you're going to like it, and then you're going to share, because sharing is caring.
Right.
All right.
Don't share with no attitude. You know, some people, you need to listen to this.
Don't do that.
They talking about you right here in episode 3.
Oh, because
it's your problem. You know how people share with that, they got to add something to it.
Okay, that's true. So because then the other person might get defensive.
Right.
And really just throw it in the garbage.
This podcast is stupid.
Okay, yeah, we ain't trying to do that.
Don't do that. Just share it.
Just share.
Andrea do all the work once you share. You know, let people join for themselves. You ain't got to say, this is what I was trying to tell you last week.
Yeah,
look at God.
No,
somebody get him with that. Look at God. They talking about it on the podcast. I was trying to tell you last week.
No blaming and no shaming. But guess what? That's pretty much what we're going to talk about today.
Uh-oh.
We talking to women today. Women's responses to our 6-week series. Yes. So we had a 6-week series and it was providing a safe space for men to heal. Men are hungry and we were here to give them what they were hungry for. So we talked about things like men, we helped them to find these things. We fed them, right? What they were looking for. So men were hungry for love. Men were hungry for leadership. Men were hungry to communicate because they felt like nobody would listen. And if they would communicate, that they'd be judged or they'd be shamed. Men were hungry to be accepted. And what we found was a lot of men don't really accept themselves. So if they don't accept themselves, then they can't really stand 10 toes down and ask you to accept them. However, but they think that they think it's automatic. So men were thinking that you just automatically accept them, you know, with all of their imperfections, that you just should accept them no matter what they've done. And we kind of taught them that it was really about them accepting themselves first. Okay. And then men were hungry for security because a lot of men, you know, we walk around and we see men and we assume because they're bigger than us and they're strong and they have muscles that they are so secure and that they're going to take care of us and that they just instinctively know how to do that. That men just instinctively know how to be our Superman because we need them. Because we need them, and we've been taught that men are supposed to take care of us and to provide security for us. So women, we just going up expecting it. We meet them, we say, but what we've learned is that men are walking around big and strong, but are feeling really insecure. And the last one was men were hungry for sex, for more sex, or to have a more vibrant sexual experiences with their long-term partners. That's what they were hungry for. Yep. We kind of told them about that. Okay. We talked a lot about that. We didn't just kind of tell them about that. We taught them about how to feed that hunger. Okay. And we also taught men about maladaptive coping skills, taking exits out of relationships, when instead of taking an exit, they need to come back. Come back in. So yeah, you don't feel like you can communicate with your girl because of you think she's going to judge you or she's going to criticize you or make you feel small. We like, no, go back in anyway. Go back, right? So we set them up for this. We even talked about the sex, or, how they expect for women to just want their sex because somebody else hooped and hollered, and it was all about their performance. And we taught them, no. It's more than just performance. Go back in. Don't take an exit to try to find some sex that you find that you want, that you imagine, or that you think that you had years ago. Like, no, this is your partner. Go back in. But this is the deal, ladies. We can't keep sending men back in. And y'all are not receptive of the men in your lives. When you are critical of their missteps or what they don't know, that makes them feel like they don't want to come back in. They want to go back out. Right. Because they feel more comfortable going back out than come back in. But what we here to do is we trying to set you up and to set them up for success. We want you to be a softer space for them to come back in, to support them coming back in, so that they don't have the need to take the exit. Okay, what you thinking, my friend?
Yeah, I think that's all great. Like, I think it's important that we be intentional about talking to the audience, whether it be male or female, about the work that needs to happen in order to be great. Like marriage is an institution. We got to get back to where there's reverence for it, and it's placed on a pedestal. It's different, like when I've worked with couples. I bet you've had this too, where the man didn't feel different once he became a husband. Right. And the woman didn't feel different once became a wife. And it's because society as a whole has kind of looked at marriage and kind of poo-pooed it. Like, who cares about marriage? Half the marriages end in divorce anyway. Right. But we're talking to the people that are actually in that marriage, in those marriages, and that are struggling. And how do you get back to putting the work in? As people have been married, I've been married. I'll be 19 years this year. You?
27 years.
27 years.
Blew you off? Blew you off the couch?
I knew that, but it's still just when you hear it. Goodness. 27 years. It's like, you have ups and downs during that time.
Absolutely.
And we're speaking to you from not only experience, but from coaching couples over years and years and years, doing research, thinking things through, working through things. I've spoken at conferences and huge things and TV and radio and stuff like that. And I have a love for successful marriages, success at love. And so I'm just interested in how can we help couples and people and husbands and wives grow and bond and reconnect. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, Stephen, I would just ask you, so for women, how can women be supportive when their partner has betrayed them in some way in the past, and now they've taken our classes, and so now they are changing their behavior? So instead of them holding in when they disagree with something that their partner says, their woman says, like they disagree with them, so before, men would just hold it in because that's what statistics have shown, that men do not feel comfortable expressing how they really feel. Men haven't even really tapped into feeling. So now we've just kind of tried to open up their heart box, and we're saying, no, go ahead, go talk about your feelings. And what men have told me was that women need to be receptive.
Yes.
They shouldn't be judging them and making them feel small because they now don't agree with them or have different feelings.
Yeah, I've had men that come to me and struggle with the masculinity side of marriage.
Okay.
And how to be a leader to a type A personality when they may not be type A.
Okay.
The woman might be a little bit stronger.
Okay.
And in terms of just determination, type A, just now, this my way.
Yes.
And so I've tried to talk to those men about being consistent.
Yeah, but listen, I know you did really well on that, and I feel like I might know where you're going, but where I want you to go, my brother, is I want you to talk to that woman that's type A personality.
Yes.
Yeah, talk to her. What does she need to do? Because that brother is in pain. I remember you talking about him.
The key thing for women is It's just sometimes you gotta be able to give men the ability to be emotional also. And sometimes when men are being emotional and tapping into that emotion the first time, many men are never emotional until we get married. That's the first time we really allow ourselves, because we get to the point where we trust this person. We've been with this person every day. Every day, right? When you marry, you together basically every day for years and years and years. And so then you get to where 10 years in, you feel like, hey, I can tell her that I'm upset or I'm hurt or I'm confused. And we need her to be in that moment to be able to receive that without being judged as you're a weak man or something like that. Because once you do something like that to a man, we never coming back to
That's you. Right.
And we going somewhere else.
That's right. That's right. It actually shuts them down. And that's what I often hear. Yeah, because, and this is another thing that's so good. That's so good. So being open and receptive to men when they're telling you what their feelings are, when they're telling you how they feel. Yeah, one thing that I often see when I'm doing counseling with couples is a man will say, so usually men, this is the norm, men have told me that they don't say what they really feel when they're home with their wives, but y'all are still living together. Y'all moving every day, everything, you think everything's right, but there's a lot of things that they're repressing and they're pushing down. And so when I talk to them and I'm like, well, so no, express yourself, like, express yourself. And then you know what they tell me, and I've actually seen it happen, because once they tell me, then when they both come in, we kind of talk through it. But men will say how they feel about something, and then a woman will take that and say, no, you don't. Like, this is how you feel, or this is what you mean, or that's not what you did, or no, remember that's what, so men say they get frustrated when a woman tells them how it is that they feel or what it is that they were trying to say, instead of just listening to them. Listening and receive it, not trying to decode it.
Right. Women do that all the time, right? For men, though, what I would say is that we've got to be where we can get emotionally stable and emotionally mature. Because sometimes we tend to go off and speak out of anger instead of tapping into how we really feel and being able to be confident in those statements of being hurt or confused or frustrated, being able to say that. And sometimes a woman can't manage that. She's not used to that side of man either, because a lot of times the first time she's engaged with a man that's being emotional is also married. Right, because when she was dating, had boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever you're doing, the masculinity kicks in, and I gotta be tough, and I'm never gonna cry, and you can't hurt me. I can't be hurt. Like, I'm not like that. And so really, this is where, when we come into marriage, where we can let our guard down. And so know that it may be a learning time, that we have to learn each other as each other grow. We have to trust each other, that we're trying to work through our emotions. It's very, very difficult for men to figure that out. What I tell men often is that you've got to be consistent. Just work through it. Just say to yourself, it's important for my development to speak to how I feel, and not to like be off kilter, off putting. Like, don't feel like I'm in a position where I'm responding, right? You're just looking inward and you're expressing how you feel.
Yeah, no, that's so good. That's so good. And so, there was something else that you said before, right? So, okay, when you said a woman, you said,
I know what you're thinking about. You're thinking about the time when I told you I was working with a couple, and I had to tell the man that his wife wasn't in a position to manage or handle his emotion.
Yes.
He was very emotional, and I said to him, don't cry with her.
Yes.
Cry with me.
Yes. Thank you. Look at it. How you knew that's what I was trying to pull up.
That's the only time I'm going to remember something that you don't remember. You got the other 9, the next 9 of you. I got my 1.
That's it. That's exactly it.
But he wasn't able to express. He was emotional. He's an emotional man.
Yeah.
And he needed to tap into that. And he's a type of man. He's an emotional and he's a thinking man.
Yeah.
And these are the men that we want. We actually want men like this in our society to be able to express themselves.
No, that's good. Women will say that they want a man that's in touch with their feelings and in touch with their emotional side. But I guess the question is, do women really want that? Do you really want that? And let me say this to you. I'm going to answer it.
Yes,
as
I was
a woman.
going. Yeah.
Because a healthy woman, okay, a healthy woman would appreciate a man who is emotional at times, right? But not emotional all the time, right? So I think women are open to seeing their man cry over things that you would that would really make you cry, right? I mean, if you're in tune with your feelings and you lost your job, someone passed away, or you feeling frustrated or overwhelmed, or you feeling stuck, those are all reasons or rationales as to they're reasonable things to cry about. Women, healthy women, can be open to that. Healthy women are open to that, right?
I'm thinking on that. So you think the average woman?
I said healthy women.
Okay, you gotta jump in there.
Right, because that's an issue,
okay,
and that's what
average,
we're talking to.
The healthy woman.
Healthy women
can receive the man showing emotional, okay.
Yes, healthy women.
Then you're gonna have to identify them or talk to them. What is a healthy woman?
Well, a healthy woman is someone who's also in tune with herself. So she knows she takes and uses the courage to use her voice. She speaks up for herself. She takes herself out of her shoes and puts herself in her man. So she empathizes with him and his walk and where he is. She's committed to working on herself and allowing her partner to work on himself. She's committed to the journey. So I'm talking about a healthy woman, not a woman who just wants and expects this, I don't know, relationship that she may have seen someplace else. No, I'm talking about a healthy woman. This is a woman who has experienced some things and she's open to learning, to even correcting herself. And in order to do that and to even understand a man, you have to be able to empathize with a man, right? An unhealthy woman is just thinking one-sided, just like unhealthy men. So she's just thinking about what he could do for her, where it's very surface. She's not going to take herself and put herself in his shoes. So she's not going to understand why he's crying, if he's ever crying, because all she wants is a soldier. All she wants is somebody to take care of her. But she's not really considering who he is as a human being, not just serving her, but even going with him on his path and his growth and being open to his growth and even her growth and her mistakes. So a healthy woman is a woman who is committed to growing and opening her mind and is holding space for her man to do the same.
You see the questions on my face. Can a boss chick be healthy like that?
Yes, be a healthy woman. Absolutely.
Because if you're a boss all day, you're the CEO of the company, and then you come home. This is one of the problems we have with women too, right? Some women, some that are powerful, that are boss chicks all day long, come home and they don't know how to take that off.
That's right. They want to be a boss at home too.
Right.
And that's wrong. That's wrong. That gets in the way. That causes conflict because, as you would say, you said God created men to be leaders.
Yes.
So if a woman, okay, she's leading because of her job, her position at work, okay, that's good. You get paid for that. But when you come home, you don't get paid to lead your man. You don't. You have to allow your man the space for him to be a man, to be his full self. Absolutely.
The thing too, when we talk, we got to be careful when we say stuff like this because some women just get turned off on it immediately, right?
Well, that's okay.
Right.
I mean, listen.
Still subscribe though for y'all leave.
It's still shared and then still share it.
Yeah. Then be mad at that.
Well, and I think that's a sign of an unhealthy woman. Women have to learn how to open their minds so that they can grow. Just being right does not make you happy. Right. And there's several women who I've helped to grow by challenging them. And I will often say, you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Because sometimes they are not synonymous. You just being right and winning the battle and knowing what you know, and I was right and you holding on to an argument, it got your house in an uproar. Everybody's hot. Nobody's speaking to each other. So sometimes you're going to have to sit with yourself and be open to learning and to conversating with your husband, to communicating, to get to a point where you're going to have to meet somewhere that may be in the middle. Some things you're going to have to give, but sometimes you can take. But yeah, so Yeah, so that's the whole thing about women wanting to be right and wanting to be happy. Sometimes they are not synonymous. So you have to look at yourselves, women. Some of you are creating a lot of the drama that you are living in. Some of you are creating a lot of the pain that you are living with, that you're living in, in your household.
When you have a man who is trying to find himself, and that's a critical stage in a man's life, because we're not looking for ourselves.
That's so good.
Notice I said we trying to find ourselves.
I was getting ready to say that, but go ahead.
And we're not even looking for ourselves. So when I say trying to find yourself, trying to find your footing, trying to find how emotional you are, who are you? What are you comfortable sharing? Who are you comfortable being? What type of husband? What type of man? What type of father? What type of friend? What type of son? All those things. What do you want to give of yourself?
Okay.
When you have a man that's kind of working through that process, are women able to receive him wherever he is?
Well, and that's what we're here to I'm trying to encourage them to do this, because this is the thing. So we've had men who've watched our series and they are finding themselves. I am here to tell you guys, we are both here to tell you guys that most men are, I don't care how old they are, they have not found themselves, and we love them and we want them in our lives. We do. You love them and you want them in your life because they're cute and you like being with them. They make you laugh. You have fun, but they make a lot of missteps because they haven't found themselves. And that's okay. That's okay. Because now we're giving them the tools so that they can find themselves. But what I'm asking you to do is give them grace. I am asking you women to give them grace and stop shooting them down when, as they're on their journey, they make a misstep. When they make a misstep and you shoot them down and put up in their face what they did before, what they didn't do, that's only going to make them run back in a hole.
Yeah.
If we encourage a man to talk about his feelings, and as soon as he gets ready to talk about his feelings, you talking about, well, you got to go do this, or you got to go, or you ain't got time for that, or you shutting him down, or you think he gonna talk about his feelings?
When they be working their shoulders like that?
What I just did there?
Yeah, do it again. When they be working, you ain't gonna be working your shoulders while you talking to me. Then I got to wag my finger, and now we gone. The whole conversation is gone. She working her shoulders, I'm wagging my fingers.
Well, I'm working my shoulders with y'all, ladies,
right,
okay? Because communication.
That's our sisters. It's tough. Yeah, we all got to know when we're not giving grace, right? That's the perfect word. We all got to know when we're not giving grace. You all got to know, especially when you have these relationships with men, as we stay in our marriage longer and longer and longer, we get more and more comfortable with feeling like, hey, I can share and I can say what I need or what I'm missing, which is critical, right? Being able to identify what you need and what you're missing, and then be able to share it and ask for it. But then if the woman is like, rawr, now we're like, okay, I'm never sharing ever again, because this was the one time I tried. I tried to use this scenario as an example, and I had this actually recently where we may have to sell our house, because something is going on in the environment around our house. That's just what I'll say. And so we're like, okay, is it smart to sell or not? And I really had to say to myself, I don't know what I want to do, because I love my home. I love the upgrades I've done to it. Like I got my whole oasis in the backyard, extended everything, got all that going on. And I'm like, I don't want to do this again somewhere else. So I had to actually be humble enough to say to my wife, and my wife said to me, she said, you're normally more clear and concise in your decision making. And I had to own it as a man and say, you know what, you're right. I'm not clear. I am a little confused. I don't know exactly what I want to do. And it was so hard for me to say.
Was it really hard for you to say that? Oh my God.
Like early on, I'd have been like, I know what I want to do. And I would have just chose a path.
Got you.
That's so great. Like really, literally, like I would have just said, let's sell, and just moved on. And that would have been it. But in this scenario, I said, you know what? It's okay for me to be humble and express to my wife, I don't really know what I want to do.
Oh, that's good.
But I had to tell myself, I was mature enough in my own manhood to say whatever, honest, I'm being honest.
I got you.
Whatever she said, I was prepared for. Whatever judgment she passed, I wasn't comfortable that she might not receive it. I don't know. But I was going to say, I needed to say my truth.
Yes.
And that's what I would encourage our men to do today.
Yes.
Is just say your truth, say how you feel, irregardless of what's going on around you.
I got
and then
you.
over time, the woman will catch up with being able to give you that grace. If she can't give it to you the first time, if you start expressing how you feel, then she learns this new you.
Hey, family, come on over here because I have something for you. Starting off with a go-to guide for keeping your minds healthy and strong. This right here is the Bible to mental health. It's your mental health Bible. The name of it is 6 Pillars to Power Up Your Mind and Make Mental Health a Lifestyle. Everything that you need to know about keeping your minds healthy and strong is in this go-to guide. Where you get it from? Well, you get it from awise.brown.com/shop. But in this go-to guide, honey, in this mental health Bible, you know what you're going to find out? You're going to find out the benefits of aromatherapy, and how it can shift your mood. But guess what? You don't have to go any place else to look for your aromatherapy because your girls got you, okay? You can get some aromatherapy here. This is aromatherapy is in this candle. This is called a slice of happiness. It makes me tingle, like literally makes me tingle. A slice of happiness. This is a cruelty-free candle with no parabens, no formaldehyde, and no known suspected carcinogenics. Now, you know, you go out here and you find these candles that smell good, but are they good for you? Are they good for your brain? Come on now, get real with yourself. Well, this one smells delicious and it's good for you. Made with essential oils. It's a soy candle. Amazing. You can burn it, or you can just walk by and smell it. Lord have mercy, it's so good. Okay, so that's your candle, your aromatherapy, which raises the dopamine in your brain. That's your natural feel-good neurotransmitters in your brain. All right, y'all. And, I'm a part of you. You're a part of me. We are a family. We got hoodies now, and these are unisex hoodies, and they wear well, they wash well, and they feel so good. So you can wear them over your clothes, you know what I'm saying, and look dope, or you can wear them as your clothes with nothing under them, which I like to do often. And when you travel everywhere, I mean, every time I wear them, I'm moving around. People are always asking me whether I'm traveling, going to the supermarket. What's that? Who's that? And I'm like, mental health is a lifestyle. Because see, this is on the back. Okay, they come in white and they come in black. I'm like, join the family. Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast. So there you go. Family, don't you ever say that I ain't give you nothing. You get all of these things from awise.brown.com/shop. All right. I got your goods. I got you. You don't have to go anyplace else. I'll see you on the other side.
Well, and this is where we are now because we're talking to the women. Because I'm saying women in that same scenario, if you like, okay, what's going on, babe? Usually, you know what to do. And I feel like you waffling and you're not really making a decision. So instead of him trying to have that toxic masculinity and speak with his ego and pride, well, I know what I'm doing, and just boom, this is what it is. Instead, he said, because he's worked on himself, that I am going to express exactly where I am. I'm going to tell my truth, love myself, feel confident in myself. I'm being honest. It is what it is, whether she likes it or not. I don't want her to not like it. I don't want her to not judge me. To judge me. But I'm standing 10 toes down, and I worked on myself, and this is what it is. Baby, I really don't know. Right now, I'm kind of in a space. We're going to be okay, though. But right now, I really don't know, what I want to do right now. So now, the other side, women, this is for you. How do you respond to that? Right? So I would tell you how to respond to that, but let me just ask you.
You go.
Okay.
You cooking.
But what did you need? That's what I want to know, right? So you stood 10 toes down, although it didn't feel good, but it felt good because it was your truth.
Right.
What did you need for your wife to how did you need her to respond to you?
We just talked through it. She did good. She just said, okay, I understand. and I needed her to be. At first, I felt, and this is where insecurity and things like that come into play. Because at first, I was like feeling judged, but then I told myself, I don't accept it. I don't accept being judged, and good. She may not be judging me.
Oh, you go.
That's the insecurity, right?
That's right. Good.
Is where I gave her grace in that moment, and then we talked through it. What's going on? How do you feel? What? And oftentimes, with the scenario with men, there were a lot of things going on. Like I was trying to think about what was best for my son. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about what was best for my daughter.
Yes.
I was thinking about what was best for us financially short term.
Yes.
What was best for us what was best for us financially long term. Mm-hmm. So there are a number of different indicators that were coming into play that I'm thinking about.
Got you.
And so that's what made me somewhat, enabled to render a decision immediately when almost 100 out of 100 times, I always know exactly how I feel about everything.
Okay.
In this scenario, I was able to say to myself, hey, I had to talk to myself. This is where we start with men, and you can talk to the women, right? I had to start to myself and say, it's okay that you're not 100% clear. I had to tell myself that over and over and over again.
Okay.
Then I had to tell myself, it's okay that you're waffling and changing your mind every day. Because some days I would be like, we're going to sell a house. Right. I'll come back the next day, be like, nah, we not selling the crib. Not the crib. We chilling. We good. This home forever. Then the next day, I'm like, nah, it's not a home. It's a house. We can sell it. We can get another one.
Oh, okay. I got you. So, but you said what you wanted her to do was, and you said she did well, wifey did well, but y'all talk through it. So y'all communicated. So you, even though the story that you were telling yourself, women catch that. The story that you was telling yourself is that she was judging you, even if she wasn't, right? It's still a story that you was telling yourself. And we all, even women, we have stories that we tell ourselves based on our trauma, based on our insecurities, based on what we've seen in life or experienced. And so we have stories we tell ourselves, doesn't mean that it's true. And so through that, you said you still were able to kind of have a conversation. And I guess by her, I think what you're saying is by her not judging you and being receptive to your thought process and where you were, made you feel like I made the right decision and this was good. So you didn't regret telling her what your feelings are.
And it got better from that point going forward.
Oh, good.
Because then I was able to say to her too, like, hey, I need to talk this out. So I know this is the emotional maturity I have. Okay. That we want to ascribe to, and I'm 50 years old this year, so it took a long time to get here, brothers.
Happy
Take your
birthday.
time. Not yet. Don't do it yet. Don't. I'm holding on to this 49. You know I am as long as I can. And so I had to get to where I said to her, hey, I'm going to talk over and over and say the same thing. I need to talk out loud.
That's good.
I don't want to keep this in my chest.
Good.
And so I may be repetitive because I'm saying, well, if we sell it, we this is the benefit.
Ooh,
if we don't sell, then this is what we lose. You know. And I would tell myself, well, Stephen, you said that yesterday, and I was like, but I need to say it out loud with my partner so I can work through. I'm working through it. It's a process. And so then she was a part of the process then, and now we can be in partnership to talk through these things and not be judgmental, no insecurity. Now, because I did that work up front and I trusted her to receive that, now I could just throw out there whatever. Why don't we do this? Why don't we turn it to a rental property? You know, and we could just brainstorm and look at the positives and negatives about that. Why don't we keep it for a while and do something else with it, you know, whatever, and do that, you know. Now we could just brainstorm, be comfortable. So that's the benefit of arriving at that emotional security and emotional maturity and just being able to now just talk as two people.
Yes, no, that's so good. And I want to jump in because I'm hearing women out there saying that when you were waffling, and this is just real talk. Can we have real talk? Okay. When you were waffling, like, I don't know, and you was talking out loud, I love the fact that you communicated that to your wife. I love the fact that she provided grace for you. I know a lot of women out here was like, well, if he don't make it,
I'll make it if you don't make it.
They would say that.
Yes.
And then they would be like, he get on my, like, seriously, like, come on, make a decision. Like, he keep going back, like, you know, so they would have judged you. And I'm going to say to you guys that I get that. You probably were. And that's okay. That's okay, because that's just how you feel. Make a decision. Please, Negro.
It's not okay.
Make a decision. No, it is okay. Listen, as long as they don't say it out their mouths to you, or as long as they don't make you feel like you're being judged, like you got me. There's a difference. But we don't know what was going on in your wife's head, and that's why she got a 100 because we don't know. Now she could have been just giving you grace and just say it as many times as you want, baby. Talk out loud. She could have, or she could have been like most women. Like if he talk about this, like I'm ready to make. Right. Which is probably more of the norm. Only thing I'm suggesting women is even if you thinking that, I got it. Close your mouth and just support him. Because as his wife, she started to support him. You know, you chose him. You know he's a smart man. He may not be giving it to you just when you need him to, but you know he's a smart man. So respect his process. And I would suggest that you check in again. So not ride his back or judge him because he doesn't know, but I would check in again. So, okay, maybe about 3 days later, 4 days later. So, hey, babe. You know, you may be thinking about it. Like I've been hearing you talk about it out loud. So I've been hearing you. So, you know, have you gotten any closer to making a decision? You know, what you thinking? You need me to help you with it? You want to know what I've been thinking? Got me? So I would go back. So if it's driving you crazy, like I need him, relax, give him time. And then I would go back though and just check in. How would you have felt if she came back to check in 3 days?
Yeah, she's done that. It's something that she's been patient. And she's hearing out the different scenarios. I mean, it's a big life decision for us. But this is a great scenario, a great story for, I hope, some listeners that have things like this to happen in their household where they can, get with their partners and really just give each other grace to talk about things and bounce ideas off. I mean, this is the biggest, greatest partnership of your life, that is marriage, right? And so we're giving you a tool to use when you're having a difficult space, a difficult problem, some obstacle in your marriage. Use this skill set of saying to each other, let's just talk with no judgment. Don't bring any of your insecurities with you. We just gonna share.
Right.
And so we got to get our marriages to that place where we can do that.
Yeah, our marriages and our relationships. But you wouldn't have a problem if she checked back in with you in 3 days, would you?
No problem at all.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no problem at all.
Okay, I just wanted to know that. So, women, all I'm saying to you is a lot of times we have to work on ourselves. Like we have to work on ourselves. So, yes, our men need work too, but we are not perfect. We may be pretty good. I see you. We see each other.
Some women that suck out there.
We see each other.
Some terrible
We may be
wives
pretty good, but we are not perfect. And the goal is for you to become your best self. Yeah. And how do you become your best self? And that's you being committed to working on yourself, not just saying I'm right, and standing on that. Because how right are you when you're in relationship with this other person and it ain't working for y'all?
Right.
Especially if you want to be in relationship with this person. Now, if you want to go be in relationship with somebody else, then yeah, you can go be right with somebody else. But if you want to be in this relationship and right in this relationship, then sometimes we have to put our defenses down. We have to put our trauma down, and we have to really open up and try to meet our partners where they are. Because as Stephen would say, and as I know, that men are still really working on finding themselves and becoming their best selves. And I'm thinking that I need to just allow him, because this is what we're not saying, is that this grace and space means that you allow men to just do whatever that they want to do. Right? Okay, because there still should be some boundaries that you have in these relationships, women. So I'm not saying and we're not saying be a doormat now that men are growing, even if he betrays you now, you understand him because they're not fully developed. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that. There's still some accountability that women that you need to have for the men in your lives and in relationships. You cannot lose yourself. Just like we taught men, They should not lose themselves trying to be a better man and trying to please women. And women, you should not lose yourselves trying to please your man. Right? Yeah. You should not do that. So you talked about accountability, and you were saying before something about make sure that you still hold men accountable.
Yes. Accountability is probably the most important skill set in marriage. Being a fair and reasonable accountability person, not a person that is, you got to cuss them out to hold them accountable. Just being firm, just having boundaries. You said something actually once about, what did you call boundaries?
Oh, I call them lines of love.
Lines of love.
Yes,
yes. I've been using that, by the way. I didn't tell you.
Okay, that's all right.
I'm not giving you no credit.
Put my money in my
I just tell people I thought about it. It's me. I thought of that the other day. I'm one of them cats that just be stealing people's stuff. But yeah, it's lines of love, and that if you don't have the ability to hold your partner accountable, then your marriage will suffer. Some people think that marriage is a thing where each person just figures out on their own where the boundaries are. That's not true, especially if someone crosses something that makes you feel, that you've been disrespected or whatever. You got to verbalize that, because everyone doesn't have the same boundaries and lines. And so you got to be able to express what you need, how you set up your marriage, communication, things like that. Talk those things out. Accountability is critical, whether it be financially, whether it be emotionally, whether it be with love, whether it be with sex, whether it be with, whatever. It's important to know first how you feel about something. And then second, what do you need from your partner in that?
And holding them accountable Accountable. Yep. That's so good. Yeah, I remember when you said that. Yeah, you said, you have to hold them accountable. You said something about, because if I didn't know that I had to come home, right? You said
I'd be out in them streets. If any random, my wife calling me, it's I'm just not going to be out, 9, 10, 11. I don't do that. Like I'm home to help kids with schoolwork, to wash some dishes, to fold some clothes, to sweep some floors, be with my wife. I'm not a guy that's out all the time like that. Even on the weekends, I may go out one night, then the next night I'm doing something with my wife.
But there was something that you did say. You said, but if a man doesn't have any accountability, if he's not held accountable, then he may not do it this month, he may not do it next month, right. But then by next year, if I knew that
there's no accountability,
rules and there wasn't no rules, and I'm just gonna be sliding all over the place.
It's just natural. It's kind of like if there's no speed limits, how fast will we go? It's 75 on the highway or whatever. We be going 100 every day just to see if it's just a mile. We doing 100 just to go to a mile. So accountability in marriage is extremely important. Like you gotta know what you're comfortable with. And so I look at it like that too. Like, what are you comfortable with? What are you not comfortable with? Like, I'm not a guy that needs to know my whereabouts of my wife all the time, where she at, what she doing. Some people need that. And I'm not saying that's wrong or whatever. It's all about your needs or whatever you got going on. And if it's an insecurity that's different, that we should talk about, you should come sit on the couch and talk about it. But it's not healthy when you live your life like that. So accountability is just about saying, hey, this is what I need. This is what I like. And it's within reason. And if you don't know if it's reasonable, again, come and talk to Andrea, sit on the couch.
I'm the counselor.
Tell them how to reach you.
Oh, so you can reach me. You can go to my website, awisebrown.com. Yeah, that's how you can reach me. And everything, like all social media, awisebrown.com. And what about you, Stephen?
StephenJamesDixon.com. I'm also Stephen James Dixon everywhere. So reach out to me. My email is ask@StephenJamesDixon.com.
Oh, okay.
Do people still email? You get emails?
I do get emails.
Do you get more DMs for questions or emails?
I get emails.
Okay.
I get emails for questions.
Subscribe, share.
Yes. So thank you. We are at the end of another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast. We were here for you women. We heard you. And we heard men say, please talk to them, because if we go do this, and if they don't receive us, we ain't doing this no more. This is crap. This is crap.
Y'all got 2024.
I'm going back to
You want us to go back to 2023?
That's what they said, ladies. So be open, provide some grace and some space, but still with accountability. All right. So please If you haven't done so already, click this little bell and subscribe, like it, and share the podcast. This is here on YouTube. And if you're listening on the podcast, subscribe, like, and share. All right.
Cool.
See you next time. Bye, family.